Shalom and welcome to Shikul Da'at. I'm Rabbi Josh Rose. Parshat Ki Tisa, Destroying to Create. This week, the Jewish people received the Aseret HaDibrot, the Ten Commandments. Now, you probably know that Moses goes up to Sinai the first time and receives the commandments. He comes down to find the Israelites worshiping the golden calf and angrily smashes the tablets he's received. Then he goes back up to Mount Sinai a second time, receives the revelation, and presents the Torah to the people. We might think of the smashing of the tablets and the receiving of the second set as a kind of detour in the story. It sort of restores us to the main point of the whole narrative, which was the receiving of the revelation the first time. But this view, I think, misses the main point. The shattering and the second set of the tablets is the key to understanding the revelation. Let's begin with a famously baffling statement from the Talmud about the moment when Moses threw the tablets to the ground. The Talmud says, "How do we know that the Holy One, blessed be He, agreed with Moses?" That is, agreed with Moses' smashing of the tablets. As it says in the Torah, the first tablets, Asher Shibarta, which you broke. And Reish Lakish said, he's a rabbi, an important rabbi in the Talmud, the word Asher is an allusion to the phrase, Yasher Kochacha, due to the fact that you broke the tablets. So there's a lot to understand here, so let's slow down and go back over it. The main point I want to make is that the Talmud is telling us that God approved of the breaking of the tablets. How do we know that? Because Reish Lakish focuses in on a sound that he hears in the Torah. When God refers to the second set of tablets and speaking to Moses, he says, I want you to make a second set of tablets like the ones Asher Shibarta, that you broke. The word Asher means that or which. Asher Shibarta. And Reish Lakish notices that Asher sounds a lot like Yasher, as in Yasher Koach, which is a phrase that we use to say good job or nicely done. You may have heard people say it in shul when somebody has an aliyah, or if they chant Torah or Haftarah, or anytime somebody does something notable, we say Yasher Koach. And Reish Lakish hears in the word Asher a secret, a hidden message, which is he thinks that God is saying Yasher Koach to Moses. So it's admittedly a very creative and unusual interpretation, but let's focus on the main point that he's making. How strange. We might understand that God agrees with Moses' reasoning that the people, by sinning with idolatry, wouldn't be worthy of the Torah. But celebrating the moment when Moses smashes the tablets with a Yasher Koach, it seems a little bit much. What's up? So to begin to piece this together, we need to look at the creation of each set of tablets. When Moses is up on the mountain the first time, the Torah tells us, when he finished speaking with him, that is, when God finished speaking with him on Mount Sinai, he gave Moses the 2 tablets of the pact, stone tablets inscribed with the finger of God. That's from this week's Torah portion. Now compare that description of the first set of tablets to what happens after these tablets have been smashed to pieces. God tells Moses how to go about getting a second set of tablets. Pasal lecha shnei luchot avanim karishonim, v'chatavti al haluchot et hadavarim asher hayu al haluchot harishonim asher shibarta. Carve for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first ones. I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, Asher Shibarta, which you broke. Those last 2 words are the source of Reish Lakish's surprising teaching that I mentioned earlier. But notice the key difference. The first time, the tablets are made and written by God. The second set of tablets, though, are different. God tells Moses to carve the tablets himself. Moses brings a human-made product, the tablets, up to God for the revelation. It is the second set of tablets, it turns out, that are the 10 Commandments. There is a tradition that the broken tablets were carried around in the ark along with the Ten Commandments, but the written Torah itself really only begins when Moses takes responsibility for helping to make it. Think about a time that something important in your life became shattered. Maybe a relationship, maybe a job, or something else that you care about. When something was suddenly broken, did you realize that you had been taking it for granted? That it was time to bring all of your attention to it because that's the only way you could hold on to it? Manifest in the second set of tablets is what scholar Benjamin Summer calls participatory revelation. We don't know what God wants from us until we engage with God. We're not just an empty vessel that God fills up with information or rules or traditions. True Torah only comes into being when we are fully engaged and present in its creation. Every time we pour ourselves into prayer and learning, whenever we ask what is required for our lives to create a life of purpose and goodness, we make ourselves into luchot, into tablets upon which God can inscribe words of Torah. So now we can understand why God congratulates Moses for breaking the first set of tablets. The second set of tablets represents the human-divine partnership that is the seed of all Torah. The first set were, so to speak, dead letters. When the Israelites turned their attention from Torah to the calf, the tablets became mere scratches of letter on stone. And maybe God understood that in making and writing the tablets, there was no space for human investment. And so he has Moses carve the second set of tablets, signifying that human ingenuity and agency must be part of revelation. Rashi, probably the greatest Torah commentator in our history, chooses to end his massive Torah commentary with just this story. On the very final verse of the whole Torah, right after Moses' death, way down in the book of Deuteronomy, which we won't get to for several months, Rashi reminds us that God said Yasher Koach to Moses for breaking the tablets. Why does Rashi choose this story to mark the end of Moses' life and the end of the Torah? I think Rashi is sending us a message across the 10 centuries that divide us. Maybe he's saying that this is the moment of Torah par excellence. The revelation is not when God gives the tablets. It's when Moses breaks them. Only then did we become partners with God in revelation. Moses teaches us that holiness is the product of human and divine cooperation. And finally, I wonder if Rashi saves his most radical and important message for the end of the Torah. The golden calf story warns us about our inclination to turn from a life of purpose and meaning to one in which we worship the work of our own hands. But in celebrating Moses' shattering of the tablets, Rashi warns us about the other danger, the danger of viewing the Torah as static, complete, and finished upon its reception. Because then it would be a story about our ancestors' revelation, rather than being a living document of our own. And even worse, it might become in itself a kind of idol, a collection of words and ideas that doesn't speak to us, to our lives, but one that we merely worship in a kind of empty fashion. That idol, too, would have to be smashed until we are ready to make for ourselves 2 tablets and become partners in revelation once again. Have a great week. Thanks for listening.